Welcome to a new update. Today I'm discussing why I'm investing into Bitcoin. We are looking at the historical perspectives of the moves of Bitcoin and the total market cap. And we're going to discuss why we are into a bear or a bull cycle at this point, including the important events where you should be looking at. Because there are a few coming up which are important to consider. It's already in this week, so we're going to focus on that for a little bit. Before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and also make sure to check out our public Discord where you can find more information. And check out our private Discord where I've got my socials altcoin portfolio, which I swing trade, and where I've got my normal portfolio, which I'm day trading. I'm fully filled into my long positions, so make sure to follow that through the trial week or become a member on our website. Also, this video is sponsored by OKX, where you can get up to $60,000 in deposit bonus if you sign up through our affiliate, and you're going to get 20% lifetime trading fees discount if you do it with the affiliate link, which you can find beneath. Now, when we're talking about the markets, it is annoying to be into a case where at this point it makes most sense to be bullish on the markets rather than bearish, and I'll describe to you why. I'm getting a lot of hate from people who say that the markets are eager for a retest at 15k. It is something that is familiar to me, as with the fact that we've had the case of Bitcoin must retest 3k or even 2.5k during the period of 2019. It is often the first path of the cycle that gives such a theory. Especially, we're going to see it more often in the coming months. If altcoins are starting to move, they usually are having a bear market mindset still with it. People are actually going to take profits on those positions to avoid losing money. And what we see right now is that there are a lot of people that have experienced the bear market, get one run up, want to take profits to get out of their positions because they feel like the markets are going to drop again. And then the markets are not dropping again. So I'm currently investing into Bitcoin, and there are several reasons for that. All right. First of all, we're going to look into the historical perspective of Bitcoin. Where are we at this point? Then we're going to look into the fact of the reasoning why I'm into Bitcoin at this point. And we're going to round off by just some events that we're looking at in the coming period and the lower time frame perspectives. If you look at it from an historical ground, we are in the very boring part at this point. So if we are looking at the entire scope of the markets, I have to put it into logarithmic because otherwise it's quite hard to digest. What do we see? Well, we've had the halving taking place in July 2016. We've had a similar taking place in 2012. We've got the same in 2020, which was here. And we are going to have the exact same in April 2024, right? So if we look at the scope, we can see that after the actual bull market takes place, we are, I'm actually using the date range, we are experiencing a big run of the markets, which is peaking at 525 days after the halving takes place, or approximately, right? Another one, 511 days after. We've had the exact same taking place here, which took a little bit shorter, right? We got into the same theory. So after the bull market is going to start, or after the halving, you've got 1.5 years and then the bull cycle takes place. If you go backward from the halving, you can also see, or you are using the peak of the bull, you can also see that the actual low takes approximately 1 year to get there. All right. So here we had 1 year too, and here we had 1 year again. During that period, people are experiencing a pretty substantial and heavy crash. So in this case, we have experienced a drop of 86%. In this case, we've had a drop of 85%. And in this case, we've had a drop of 78%. And I still believe that the previous bull cycle should have gone higher if there was not Sam Alameda involved into it. So where are we right now? Well, as you can see, the bull market starts after the last low. So in this case, although it took a lot of time before people were convinced that we were into a bull cycle, it was the actual low that took place 1 year after the previous cycle high that ensured that we were going to go into a bull cycle. Same goes for the one here in 2018. We've had the cycle low and then we started to rally off. We had an outlier here because of COVID-19 and the fact that the BitMEX engine failed, because otherwise we would have gone higher pre-halving and have a retest at 11k, and then the bull market would have just surged even more. So where are we right now? Well, we are at a place that is pretty much in between. So in this case, if we go back from the halving, we are approximately 10 months prior, right? 10 to 12 months prior. Here we are 252 days as well, and here we have experienced 252 days as well. In this scenario, in the 2015-2016 scenario, we have experienced an upwards run going into the halving from a pretty heavy bear market. We just started to rally sideways in another rally. In this case, we started to have a relatively strong run due to Libra and then consolidation and probably another rally. So we would have had this experience, right? And now we are experiencing a rally going sideways and probably another one. So the other conclusion we can get is that in the 2015-2016 cycle, on the higher time frames, we didn't really get any new lows in place. We did retests, but every breakout which comes back towards that level is getting a retest and then consolidation before we start to grind back up. And what we witnessed in the previous 2015-2016 cycle is that we've had this big breakout, consolidation on a higher ground, sideways period of approximately 6 to 7 months, and then a big breakout again as we rallied from 478 to 750. Here we have experienced the exact same. If you take out this wick here, we are going sideways from around here to here, actually here, for more than a year before we started to make the big breakout and the bull market started to take place. So right now we are having the exact same case. We have witnessed a breaker. We are going sideways for half a year already. And we are on the edge of continuing the momentum. Additionally, if you use the 2015-2016 cycle, which I think is very familiar, in 2015-2016, lots of new participants have joined the markets. In 2021, no new actual group of investors started to join because institutionals were not able to, VCs were able to, but only partially. Retail investors are not the market movers. So 2017 was heavily skewed towards retail investors. And now, given the big events that are going to take place in the framework that is built, institutional investors are going to join. So this bull cycle can be compared with the one in 2016-2017, which is most likely going to overshoot to the upside given the supply shock that's going to be implied and the heavy amount of volume that's going and liquidity that's going to move into the markets. So in that theory, I'm buying and accumulating Bitcoin here, given that we're just barely above the 200-week MA and EMA, which is also a crucial indicator to actually get into investments, but also because we are 1 year prior to the halving, which for altcoins is the best moment to get into positions. And for Bitcoin is the boring period, which is just a sideways period before it starts to expand to the upside. So if you look at the theory of the markets right now, and I've been posting this already, we have been witnessing this downwards fall, but we are currently making higher lows, higher highs. And as I mentioned in 2015-2016, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that we're going to make new lows. I would like to look at 2020 March as a potential outlier instead of an actual matter of trend trading, because we were just having a relatively normal correction from a move from 3 to 14k, resulting into dropping towards 7 to 8k, which is kind of standard. which means that if we have an expansion in the coming periods or later this year, that will most likely come back to retest levels before we continue to move. So I'm buying and accumulating my Bitcoin here. The question is, are you? Additionally, if you look at the big events that are taking place, yesterday we've had PayPal joining the forces with Paxos creating a PIUSD stablecoin, which enables a large group of retail investors and institutions to join into the crypto markets due to the fact that PayPal is compliant with the regulatory framework of the US. This also means that it's being built on Ether and that ETH is not a security. So it's just a matter of time before that actually is going to be kicking the markets and the markets start to pace up with the news. Right now, price is flat, but news is already pushing the valuation of the crypto or the underlying asset upwards. So it's lagging behind. So the actual real value is lagging behind, given the fact that people are not putting any effort into positive news. They do it in negative news, as the previous market cycle have been giving that. This week we've got a few important events. We've got CPI, which is on Thursday, the key ingredient to actually move the yields. As you can look at the yield structure, we are on edge to start moving downwards, which means that most likely the Fed is going to pause the rate hikes, especially as last Friday we've had the NFP coming in, which was terrible. Second month in a row that's actually quite bad. So as a result, we're most likely going to get a market that is going to reverse on the yields for a little bit if CPI comes in positive. Friday we've got PPI. And within 3 weeks, we're going to experience the ETF applications, which has a pretty substantial chance of hitting approval. And on Saturday to Sunday, we're going to have the first one potentially being approved, which is the one from ARK. So those can be triggering a certain move. Also, if CPI comes in a negative way, we can have some more consolidation and downwards movements on the price of Bitcoin. But as long as Bitcoin stays above this level of 25k, we are fine. Now, when we look at the lower time frames for Bitcoin, I think the chances are quite normal again, right? There are 3 scenarios. First one is we lose this entire level again at 29k. Then I'm definitely convinced to buy anything between 27.5 to 28.5. Because that's where the liquidity lies and that's what's required to actually make an upwards move. Additionally, if you want to take an aggressive approach, you can look at 29k as a flip. And finally, you can use 29.7 to activate a long position there if we break through it. And I think once we start to take out all these highs, it's just a matter of time before we start to run to 31.5. I hope you have been enjoying this update. I'll be back on Thursday with a new one regarding CPI, and make sure to subscribe. Ciao.